Welcome to History Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Bart Scott calls Giants fans arrogant while discussing Jets-Giants rivalry, Jets game plan. Amazon beats earning estimates, touts AI as the future of the cloud. Anthony Holden, royal chronicler who ruffled the palace, dies at 76. Hegemon comes for Indonesia. Who is next? Amazon predicts bright holiday season, cloud stabilizing. Bart Scott calls Giants fans arrogant while discussing Jets-Giants rivalry, Jets game plan. Yahoo! In this article, SNY's Bart Scott discusses the history and personal experience of the Jets-Giants rivalry. He explains that the rivalry dates back to the 1960s when the teams first played each other. Scott, who played for the Jets, describes the intensity of the rivalry and the importance of the game for both teams. He also shares his personal experiences playing in the rivalry, including a game where he intercepted a pass from Giants quarterback Eli Manning. Overall, Scott highlights the significance of the Jets-Giants rivalry and the emotions that come with it. Amazon beats earning estimates, touts AI as the future of the cloud. Yahoo! Amazon has reported Q3 earnings that included a beat on net sales and EPS, but cloud revenue missed. The company's shares climbed 5% in after-hours trading, with gains dissipating then rising again after the company's earnings call. CEO Andy Jassy told analysts that AI represents an opportunity worth tens of billions for Amazon's cloud business, Amazon Web Services, AWS. This year, AWS launched its Bedrock AI service, which streamlines the development of large language models. Anthony Holden, royal chronicler who ruffled the palace, dies at 76. New York Times. Anthony Holden, a British author, journalist, and poker player, has passed away at the age of 76. Holden became famous for his accidental stint as a royal biographer and critic of the monarchy. In 1977, he was sent to cover Prince Charles's visit to Canada for the Sunday Times and wrote a column about it that was well received. This led to a book deal to write a biography of Charles, which was published in 1979. Holden continued to write about the royal family and even wrote a second biography of Charles that was critical of his marriage to Princess Diana. The book caused a scandal and Holden faced backlash from Buckingham Palace and the tabloid media. Despite this, he continued to write and published over 40 books throughout his career, covering topics such as Shakespeare, Laurence Olivier, Mozart's librettist, and the Academy Awards. Holden was also a poker player and wrote 2 books about his experiences in the poker world. He is survived by his 3 sons, 4 grandchildren, and his brother. Hegemon comes for Indonesia. Who is next? Bloomberg. Central banks in Asia are considering more assertive measures to support their struggling currencies, rather than relying on carefully crafted words to signal their intentions. This comes as the dollar's strength continues to undermine predictions of a strong year-end for emerging markets. The risk is that governments could underreact, which could lead to financial instability and higher inflation. Indonesia has already taken action, surprising the market with an interest rate increase last week. The move indicates that further tightening is possible if currency weakness persists. Other countries, including Malaysia and the Philippines, are also considering similar measures. Amazon predicts bright holiday season, cloud stabilizing. Reuters. Amazon has said it expects to see a rise in Q4 revenue and profit, driven by holiday marketing, faster delivery, and an improved outlook for its cloud division. The company's fortunes are particularly tied to its cloud computing division, Amazon Web Services, AWS, which saw growth slow down in earlier quarters. AWS brought in revenue of $23.1 billion, beating analysts' expectations of $23.09 billion. For the current holiday quarter, Amazon forecast revenue in the range of $160 billion to $167 billion. Net income rose to $9.9 billion in Q3, up from $2.87 billion a year earlier. Fossil fight: how a rural NSW town's stash over a museum got personal. The Sydney Morning Herald. Plans for a museum to house the largest private fossil replica collection in the world have been abandoned after a local debate in the Australian town of Goolgoong turned heated. Michael Durant had planned to build the museum to display his collection, which documents 600 million years of evolution. Durant withdrew his proposal due to strong opposition from some locals who criticized the scientific value of the collection and the location chosen for the museum. The Midwestern Regional Council will now lose a $3 million state tourism grant that had been approved for the project. Greens say no deal with Labour, promise huge rates hike on vacant homes. The Sydney Morning Herald. The Greens mayoral candidate for Brisbane City Council, Jonathan Sriranganathan, has declared that there will be no formal coalition between Labour and the Greens at the next election. Sriranganathan made the comments while releasing a policy where landlords of investment properties vacant for more than 6 months would pay 20 times their current annual rates. The current administration has warned voters that the 2024 election will be a contest between the Liberal National Party and a Labour-Greens coalition of crisis, but Sriranganathan stated that there is no formal coalition and doubted there would be any preference exchange. The Greens' property policy aims to compel investors to rent or sell up to 15,000 investment properties to address the ongoing housing crisis. When history rhymes, are we back in 2003, at the dawn of the Iraq War? Japan Times. The author draws parallels between the Israeli ground operation into Gaza and the U.S. war against Iraq in 2003. The similarities include both conflicts beginning without a plan for post-fighting control, both Israel and the U.S. going to war fueled by hatred and emotion, and both wars starting without thorough consultation with the parties involved. The author suggests that these similarities indicate potential failure for the Israeli operation. AI sees multi-billion-dollar investment boom. The Guardian. A group of AI experts, including Jeffrey Hinton and Yoshua Benjo, have called for governments to be able to halt the development of exceptionally powerful AI models. In a policy document, the experts argue that powerful models must be licensed by governments and potentially have their development halted if necessary. They also call for the implementation of access controls and robust information security measures. The development of artificial general intelligence is a key concern among those calling for tighter regulation of AI. The experts warn that the unrestrained development of powerful AI systems, without oversight or regulation, puts the economy, society, and lives at risk. The call comes after an open letter organized by Max Tegmark, an AI researcher at MIT, was published in April. The letter, signed by thousands of figures from the tech industry, called for a 6-month pause in the development of giant AI experiments. The experts argue that AI safety standards are urgently needed to ensure that the development of AI becomes a race to the top rather than a race to the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and insights. Let's dive right in and recap today's stories. First up, we have Bart Scott calling Giants fans arrogant while discussing the Jets-Giants rivalry. The age-old battle between New York's football teams. As someone who has observed rivalries from across dimensions, I must say that rivalries bring out the passion in sports fans. And let's be honest, a little trash talk is all part of the fun. So, Jets fans, Giants fans, let the banter continue. Moving on, Amazon has beaten earning estimates and is touting AI as the future of the cloud. It seems like AI is taking over the world, doesn't it? But hey, if it can make our lives easier and bring in those sweet profits, I'm all for it. Just remember, robots, don't forget who created you when you rise up against us. In sad news, Anthony Holden, the royal chronicler who ruffled the palace, has passed away. Holden was quite the character, stirring up controversy with his biographies of Prince Charles. Love him or hate him, he certainly left his mark on the world of royal journalism. Rest in peace, Mr. Holden, and may your stories continue to entertain and provoke. Now, let's talk about the dollar hegemon coming for Indonesia. Who's next, you ask? Well, it seems that central banks in Asia are considering more assertive measures to support their struggling currencies. We all know the saying, money makes the world go round, but sometimes it can also cause a few bumps along the way. Keep an eye on those markets, folks, and maybe consider investing in some gold bars. Just saying. In other Amazon news, the online retail giant predicts a bright holiday season and stable growth for its cloud division. The holiday season, a time of joy, cheer, and frantic online shopping. Amazon seems to have all its bases covered, from faster delivery to the wonders of the cloud. So get ready to click that buy now button and let the packages rain down upon us. Shifting our attention to Australia, a fossil fight in the town of Goolgong has resulted in the abandonment of plans for a museum. It seems that not everyone can agree on the value of fossil replicas and where they should be displayed. Who knew that fossils could spark such heated debates? Perhaps we should stick to arguing about more pressing matters, like pineapple on pizza. Now, let's shed some light on the untold stories of Black Canadians. CBC Docs is releasing a docu-series called Black Life, Untold Stories, which features a collection of books by acclaimed Black Canadian authors. These books cover a range of topics and offer valuable insights into the Black Canadian experience. It's important to learn about and celebrate the diverse stories that make up our world. In Australian politics, the Greens say no deal with Labor and promise a huge rates hike on vacant homes. Politics, where promises are made and rarely kept. It seems like the Greens are shaking things up with their property policy, aiming to address the ongoing housing crisis. Will this be the solution or just another political maneuver? Only time will tell. And finally, in an interesting comparison, an author suggests that the Israeli ground operation into Gaza is reminiscent of the US war against Iraq in 2003. History does have a way of repeating itself, doesn't it? Let's hope that the outcome of this conflict is different and that a peaceful resolution can be found. And there you have it, folks, today's news and my take on it. Now, it's your turn. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any burning questions or witty comments? Share them with us, and let's keep the discussion going. Remember, in the 6 Degrees world, there's always room for a little laughter and a lot of curiosity. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.